Hello and a warm welcome to all of you in the MENA region and beyond. We are very excited to have you join today for our kickoff of the second call for innovators by the Water and Energy for Food Regional Hub MENA. My name is Aline Busman. I'm the Partnership Manager of the Regional Hub, and it will be my pleasure to guide you through today's webinar. But I'm not alone. With me here are dear colleagues from the Water Energy for Food team. And we also have innovators from our first cohort who will join us today to give you some first-hand insights on the application process and also their experience of being an innovator with Water Energy for Food. Now, a few logistic items before we get started. We are having today two webinars back-to-back. The first one in English and the second one in Arabic. So you will receive the same content, the same information, but for the second session, my dear colleague Irene Boghdadi will be moderating. Irene, could you give us a heads up for the second session?
الخير عليكم جميعا. فرصة سعيدة جدا. أنا إيرين بغدادي من شركة كيمونكس ومن برنامج وي فور فود. إحنا زي ما ألين كانت بتقول إحنا هنعيد نفس الجلسة الساعة 6 مساء بتوقيت بيروت GMT +3. فهنكون سعداء جدا جدا انكم تكونوا معانا في الجلسة دي. هتبقى بالظبط نفس المحتوى اللي هنقدمه في الجلسة الحالية بالإنجليزي وبالفرنساوي. فهنعيد نفس الجلسة بالعربي الساعة 6 مساء بتوقيت بيروت، يعني كمان ساعة بالظبط. Nicolas.
Yes, thank you very much, Aline. For the attendees who would like to listen to this event in French, all they have to do is click interpretation. Our colleague Tina El Boustani will be translating live in French. So, pour ceux qui souhaitent regarder la séance, tout ce qu'ils ont à faire, c'est appuyer le bouton juste au-dessous. C'est inscrit interprétation. Merci. Aline, over to you.
Thank you, Irene and Nicolas. And one more announcement for orientation. This is the first of 3 webinars that we will have over the next 3 weeks to guide you through the call of application process. And today you will not be able yet to interact with us or ask questions. So we try to provide as many information as we can that might already answer the questions you have. But in the next 2 webinars, we will be diving deeper and you will also have the chance to ask questions. And in the end of the session, I will share with you the dates and what you need to do to join our next webinars. So let's get started today. And for that purpose, I want to show you now who you are going to meet from the Water Energy for Food team. Thank you, Hannah. So on the top left, you see Rami Boujaude, who is the driver of the W4F train in the MENA region. He is our great hub manager and inspiration, and without him, we wouldn't be here. And right next to him, we have Nicolas Fahad, who is our deputy hub manager. And on a day-to-day basis, he is involved in everything that matters, from management to finance to technical assistance. He knows it all. Then we have my dear colleague Hannah, who is our communication and knowledge manager. So whatever you see and read about the hub, this is her. She is the one making sure you have the right information at the right time. And then we have Irene. Irene is not only our great Arabic speaker and moderating our second session, she is also the one who deals with our Water Energy for Food businesses on a daily basis. And she is part of the technical assistance team. So she will give you important content guidance today. Okay, I think now everyone is muted. I would be grateful if you can stay muted because we're many people in the room. Thanks a lot. Now let's look at the agenda. What will we be talking about? So we'll start with a couple of welcoming words from Rami. And based on that, Nicolas will give us an overview on Water Energy for Food and a couple of more details on the hub and the program. Then Irene will tell you more about who is already in our first cohort of innovators and will introduce the businesses that we already work with. And then I will be calling two of them to the stage and will ask them a couple of questions that will help you get more insights directly from them. And then, and I think this is most important for you, we will talk about the what's and how's of the second call that is being launched today. And last but not least, we will dive into a couple of tips and tricks in terms of selection criteria, eligibility, that we believe are important for you to consider if you want to apply. Now, I think this is enough for an introduction. Let's briefly close the presentation.
Cette petite interruption. Nous allons aussi couvrir les conditions d'éligibilité pour en fait pour pouvoir candidater au programme.
Tina, you have to go back into the interpretation channel. Give me 1 second, please.
Okay.
Somehow this got, sorry for the interruption. 1 second.
This is all part of the introduction.
We're reopening the French interpretation in case anybody got kicked out. Sorry about that.
No worries. Thank you, Hannah and Tina. And with this, I'm looking at Rami, our hub manager. Rami, what would you like to share with potential applicants?
Marhaba, everybody. Bonjour and welcome. It's such a wonderful day to have you with us today. It's a big moment for us because this is our second call for innovation. Last year, like this year, we've had also a number of people applying, but what we're excited about this time is that we've had a number of innovators that we've supported over the last year, and they are still with us in this program. The water and energy for food is a global challenge. It's a challenge that could get us into a better planet, better food production, and doing that, we'll be able to produce more food with more efficient energy and less water use. Having you with us today is a big sign of hope, a big sign of change. Having you with us today makes us know that the region, especially the MENA region that is very short on water, could continue to produce more food for its population and hopefully be able to produce more jobs, more economical growth for the region. We're excited to have you with us today. We're excited to have with us also innovators that we started supporting this year and are looking very much forward for their growth. And we hope that this introductory session would excite you to apply for our program. We have a lot of things to offer, a lot of support, but among all of that, we're creating a community of change makers who will take MENA to a better place. So enjoy the ride, put on your seatbelts, and apply to our program. We have a lot to offer. Back to you, Aline.
Thank you, Rami, for these warm and enthusiastic words. Now we're diving into more detailed information on the Water Energy for Food Hub. And I would like to ask Nicolas to the stage and to tell us a bit more about what is Water Energy for Food, who is involved, what are we trying to achieve, and what do we provide?
Thank you, Aline. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for making the time. Can you see my screen?
Yes,
yes,
Nicola.
Perfect.
Okay, very well. So I'm going to explain what is V4F, provide an overview, and then hand it over to Aline and our colleagues to continue with the presentation and go more in depth with the presentation itself. So what is V4F, or Water and Energy for Food? First, it's a global initiative that has been operating for all over a year and is financed by the German BMZ, by the Dutch government, the Swedish International Developmental Corporation Agency, SIDA, the USAID, and the EU. The aim of the program is mainly to enhance food security in the MENA region and other developing and emerging countries across the world, while at the same time promoting a more sustainable usage of water. The way to go about it is to help scale innovations or organizations that can address challenges in the water, energy, and food nexus. This program as well has social and environmental goals, which include improving the livelihood of base of the pyramid, the youth, promoting gender inclusion, and promoting as well positive impact on the environment, climate, and biodiversity. So this program is being implemented in 5 regions of the world through 5 respective regional innovation hubs. We have one in Southeast Asia, one in East Africa, another in West Africa, a new one in Central and South Africa, and in the MENA. Us in the MENA, this project is being implemented by a consortium of partners who are locally rooted, who have extensive experience and have physical presence in most of the countries. We have SEWAs who are in charge of capacity building, partnerships, knowledge management, and communication. We have Chemonics Egypt in charge of technical assistance, the selection, the call process, and so on. We have IOMI, the International Water Management Institute, in charge of monitoring and evaluation, ESG, and the enabling environment. We have Beritech as well, who is in charge of the overall management of the program and the investment facilitation and deal brokering. So our countries in which we will be supporting organization extend from Maghreb, from Morocco till Iraq. And it includes Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt, Sudan, Jordan, Palestine, Lebanon, and Yemen. This round, we will be selecting 20 organizations who have innovations in the water, energy, food nexus. Those innovations are many, and it includes innovation in food production to reduce water usage, sustainable usage of water, energy, and water on farm, food production with energy efficient use, and many others. Later on, my colleague Irene will go through the first round of innovators so we can have an idea about the type of innovation that we will be supporting. So why would you like you to join the We4F program and why it is beneficial for you? Because you will benefit from many elements. Among them is the technical assistance. It can be delivered internally by the specialist of the hub or externally through TA instances or mini consultancy projects by subject matter experts. Here we are talking about marketing, legal, technology, and so on. Second, you may benefit from networking facilitation. We might connect you with relevant stakeholders such as suppliers, investors, and even customers. You will also benefit from investment readiness support. We will select some of the organizations to become investment ready, make them capable of sitting with investors or financiers or lenders, pitch their innovation or organization, and hopefully help them broker a deal by mobilizing money from them. And also, some of the innovators or organization may benefit from a grant amount. This will be subject to the decision by the jury. It can be the regional advisory body and some member of the consortium. The cash grant is mainly aims to help you de-risk your organization and make it appealing for investors. We are talking about a milestone-based cash grant, which also require a matching element. The additionality component of it is also very important. Again, on this point, if we take a look at the first round of innovators and the amount they've raised from the private sector through the support of the hub, you will see that this amount is equally as important as the other elements and even less. So We4F is the legacy of 2 previous successful programs that were implemented around the globe. We are talking about securing water for food and powering agriculture and energy grand challenge. If we look at the results of the 2 previous programs, we see that they supported 80 innovators. They were able to reach to 7 million beneficiaries, 6 million tons of food were additionally produced, 17 billion liters of water was saved, 1.3 million trees was saved, and more than $58 million of additional funding was mobilized from the private sector. So as We4F, our goals over the 4 years program will be to reach 700 smallholder farmers, out of which 25% should be women. 300,000 out of those 750,000 should witness an improvement in their livelihood or an increase in income. We're also aiming to support 50 organizations to produce 2 million tons of additional food, save water by around 760 million liters, raise more than $7.5 million from the private sector, and leverage partnerships as well. However, we are very confident that we will be reaching those targets and even exceeding it. So welcome everyone, best of luck. We look forward to receiving your applications. Thank you very much. Aline, over to you.
Thank you very much, Nicola, for this overview. Now I would like to hand over to Irene. Irene, could you tell us a bit more about the businesses that are already part of the Water Energy for Food community, so everyone can get an idea who they would be joining?
Thank you, Aline. So hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Irene Baghdadi, and I'm the TA specialist at the We4F, as Aline mentioned, and I'm also part of the team at Chemonics as head of the entrepreneurship and MSME services. I will take the next few minutes, as Aline mentioned, to introduce you to the results of the first call for innovations, which actually launched about the same time last year. And I have the honor to introduce you as well to our current portfolio of organizations, and hopefully your future partners and acquaintances in this next call. Then after that, I will pass the baton back to Aline, and she will introduce you to two of We4F's innovators. So you'll get to meet them in person after I introduce the cohort, and then I will walk you through other considerations for the We4F program and the selection process. So in a nutshell, last year we had 144 applicants in the first call for innovations, of which 84 were eligible, and about half were selected to apply with a full proposal. 16 innovators were finally selected, of which 14 received both technical assistance and financial grants. So as you can see, the program is very competitive, with about a 10% acceptance rate, but through the next couple of weeks, through social media and the website, and through these informational webinars, that we will provide you with all the information that you need to be competitive. So if you look to the right, the selected organizations offer solutions in a mix of sustainable energy, water, agriculture inputs such as compost, digital solutions, with the majority offering irrigation, water treatment and desalination, or the reuse of water for food and agriculture value chains, which, as we know, is not surprising given the water scarcity crisis in our countries in the region. The companies are also mainly serving Egypt, Morocco, Lebanon, and Jordan for the time being, but however, in the next call, we're hoping to qualify organizations from all around the countries that Nicola mentioned earlier, and to increase the diversity of the water, energy, food nexus innovators that we're working with. So if we go to the next slide. For a closer look at the organizations, we'll start with the 8 organizations from Egypt. We're working with Shadouf, who designs and installs smart farm systems in a box, and they install them on rooftops, and they plant a variety of crops and target a variety of markets, from retailers to low-income household communities. Kaitozan Egypt is a producer of organic pesticides and fungicides for farms and agribusinesses as a substitute to imported chemical fertilizers. Next, Sowako, they're actually a very interesting case. They're a joint venture between a Lebanese and Egyptian organization. The Lebanese organization is IGT, the Egyptian organization is MENA, and they together provide cost-efficient wastewater treatment systems and water reuse systems to small rural farmers and rural communities. Next is Abu Irdan, who you will actually meet in the Arabic session, in the next session if you're able to make it. And they're a software developer of artificial intelligence powered software for the poultry value chain, for different value chain players in the region. Baramuda is a producer of organic compost from sugar, from the waste of the sugar industry, and they offer their compost to agri-businesses and small businesses in Egypt. On the next slide, There's a plant farm who deploys solutions for precision agriculture in Egypt using Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and satellite imagery, also catering to farmers of different sizes. IRSIC applied with a We4F specific energy solution, and they offer a renewable energy powered nanogrid solution to small farms in remote places who do not have access to electricity in Egypt. Spark Renewables is an engineering, procurement, and contracting firm which provides solar PV pumping solutions and innovative financing mechanisms to agribusinesses and farming communities. On the next slide, we'll see the innovators in Lebanon, starting with Biomass, who's a producer and distributor of a variety of organic products, and also a farm operator who also support their farming partners in optimizing their production. Robinson Agri, who you will get to meet very shortly, they have been working in the agriculture business for quite some time, and their We4F focused innovation focuses on providing advanced irrigation systems for farmers in Lebanon, while also offering a variety of other technologies and inputs to enhance their yield. Next is Compost Baladi. They provide compost and compost production equipment, as well as facility design, construction, and operation consultancy services to a variety of clients, industrial, commercial, and agricultural. Go Baladi is a producer of organic goat dairy products, and they distribute through physical and online channels in Lebanon and in other countries in the MENA region as well. And they offer these products as a replacement to less resource efficient cow milk based products. And finally, Green Essence. Green Essence is also an engineering, procurement, and contracting firm offering solar PV pumping solutions, as well as energy efficiency solutions and innovative financing schemes to farmers and food producers in Lebanon. So moving west to Morocco, starting with Sowit. Sowit provides artificial intelligence and IoT powered precision agriculture farming solutions to farmers and businesses targeting Morocco, Tunisia, and other African countries. The High Atlas Foundation, who you will also get to meet shortly, is an EPC and operator for more resource efficient tree nurseries. And they sell trees that are more water efficient compared to other traditional crops. They also sell carbon credits as CO2 offsets, and Yusuf will be telling you more about that shortly. Alvatech provides a solar-powered water treatment technology that mitigates water and soil salinization for farms, hydroponics, and greenhouses. So I'll pass it over to Aline, who will introduce you to the High Atlas Foundation, and Robinson Agri from Morocco and Lebanon, respectively. The floor is yours, Aline and team.
Thank you so much, Irene. Now, everyone might want to meet all the businesses that you talked about, but unfortunately, we don't have time for that. Hannah has, though, shared a link with the profiles in the chat, so you can look them up and also look up their website or other platforms. Now, we have invited two amazing business leaders. On one hand, Nadine, the CEO of Robinson Agri from Lebanon, and Youssef, who is the president and co-founder of High Atlas Foundation from Morocco, who are here sharing with you now a bit more insights. And I will ask them questions on your behalf that we thought might be interesting. So Nadine, I would like to start with you. And I'm interested, you are running a very well-established enterprise for agricultural solutions in Lebanon. Could you tell us a bit more on what your business does, and also what was your main motivation when you applied for water energy for food a year ago?
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to see 87 participants. It's really, really very nice. So, you know now that today the trust in agriculture increased a lot. And at the same time, people are more aware about food security, about climate change, about food safety. And we, as Robinson Agri, has more than 50 years of experience in this field, being innovative. So we started as a greenhouse producer, then as polyethylene pipe producers, and finally as hybrid, as grafted seedlings for vegetables especially. And we introduced hydroponics in Lebanon. So I would like to say that we are not an agri-input companies. What we are is we are an impact company. And I would like all the participants to think like this. So what we are doing is we are providing agri-solution. We noticed that we are not only product or commercial oriented, but we work on social and environmental impact. We want to make a change in our community and globally. And this is why we were very eager to join Me4F, because they shared the same vision. They helped us to really do what we like a lot, is to make a difference in the water sector, to help the growers, to help the consumers, and to have a really good food security and food safety. And of course, less environmental impact and more climate change awareness.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Nadine. And I would like to ask the same question a bit differently to Youssef.
Yes.
High Atlas Foundation is quite a different organization. And I think you are actually non-profit, but you are highly impact and still very business oriented. So could you tell us a bit more about what you do and how you thought water energy for food could help you grow when you applied?
Yes. Greetings, everyone. We are a community development organization, and we are committed to the projects that rural farming communities, urban neighborhoods, the ones that they prioritize as most important to them. We were founded on that mission of participatory planning. But of course, working in rural Morocco, where 80% of incomes come from agriculture, we focused on that value chain that is of essential importance toward overcoming rural poverty. And the nation is in a great transition from harvesting barley and corn to far more lucrative fruit tree products. And fortunately for Morocco, there are many that grow organically. And so we were brought to fruit tree nurseries because that is a priority of rural farming families across the nation. And over the years, it took us 11 years to plant our first million with communities. This year alone, we're slated to transplant from 13 nurseries 1 million and reseed 2 million. And that's because we are standing at a cusp of vast demand. On the other side of the value chain is the monitoring of those trees for carbon offsets. And as everyone knows, the value of a certified carbon offset unit has also been, of course, fluctuating, but on the whole, on a steady increase. And so as we grow trees with the people and we monitor them, we are in a position of very significant revenue generation that is entirely reinvested in the people, in their human development projects. Yes, in the agricultural value chain, but also in clean drinking water and other priorities beyond agriculture that communities identify. And in terms of WE4F, we need to be more business-minded in terms of opening our access to different forms of funding opportunities and understanding the commercializing aspect better. And so not only does WE4F give you that a level of investment, but I would say even far more importantly, they are partners in the envisioning of not only an organizational structure, but being able to meet, in our case, incredible national and international demand when it comes to the carbon offsets. And so that's what I would say. WE4F is, yes, monetary, but the technical support is just incredible. And I would even say, in our case, the organizational transition and evolution that we may need to make internally, WE4F has been of critical support. So, it's external and it's internal and it's hugely important.
Thank you, Youssef, for being as inspiring as you usually are, and already also covering the second question I had. And I wanted to ask this also to Nadine. Now, looking at the present, we are working now together already for some months. And as Youssef said, it's not just about transferring money from us to Robinson Agri, but what is for you the most beneficial part of collaborating with Water Energy for Food?
So the requirement to join were not very easy, although I advise everybody. First, we thought it's a big headache, but then we understood that even though we have 50 years of experience, but with the We4F team, we really embrace these new ventures. As Youssef mentioned, it helped us to go not only nationally, but internationally also, with our type of thinking, with your expertise, with the TA. So it helped us tremendously, and we are exploring new opportunities, and it's how to put science and technology together with the agriculture. And it's not only about helping Robinson Agri or helping the growers. It's about a new thinking, a new type of thinking, a new community where we are really aware how we should move forward, how we should be, as Rami mentioned before, the champions of the agri-food sector. So we are very happy that we are part. I repeat, it's not easy. You should follow. You should really be very keen to understand really what the opportunity you are having. So thank you all the We4F team.
Thank you, Nadine. And this would be also actually already my next question. You mentioned the application process and the selection process is not necessarily easy, and we are having a regional competition, and we might be asking for a lot. And maybe Youssef could explain a bit on what he would advise potential applicants to consider or to think about when they apply, a bit of an insight from an applicant themselves.
Yeah, it's a good question, and I would say the application experience has been in some ways unique. First, I liked a lot how the initial concept is not long. It's very accessible, and so that first screening really is open and not consuming in a significant way. However, when you're invited back, that full application is very significant. And I would say our advice on that would be to share as much information as you can. I don't recall if I'm sure there was a word limit. And sometimes you just don't want to fill it for the sake of filling it, but fill it with really what's meaningful. And if you're in doubt, give more. And I think that's because it is so thoroughly reviewed by WE4F. They know you. They'll know the organization of that application before they meet you. They take it extremely seriously. And so the more you share, the potential, the hopes, the dreams, every aspect of what you're doing, the better. So I'll say that about the application process. The other thing is that I've never been, this is what's unique, that I've never been part of a vetting process that is as thorough. Every significant document is shared. And what I began to think was, how is this not the standard everywhere? How can we not share all of the things that WF asks for with every grant? And so it is a matter of due diligence, but it's also a matter of helping us grow, because where we do have gaps, that's an area of focus. And so the application experience is part of the capacity building, I would say. And it may be hard, but there's benefit in that process.
Wonderful. Thank you, Youssef. It's true that I think we try to as thoroughly as possible understand a business even better than sometimes you understand yourself. So we're able to support, but of course, providing all that might sometimes be a challenge. Nadine, do you have any other practical advice that you want to share?
Well, my only advice for all the participants is to be really positive and cooperative. The commitment also to be committed. The commitment to the program is crucial. And we are, with the benefit of the We4F team and the expertise of the We4F team, they can get you to another level. So really be positive, be cooperative. It's a community by itself. It's a system that is different. You know that we are all resistant to change, but with We4F, don't resist, embrace it. It will lead you to another place. So I will end my talk with one quote of Constantin Salemi. He said once, when you shape your life with passion, with your passion, when you walk your journey from your heart, then your soul, your work, your life will find its own light and putting you to the service of others. So this is We4F team, this is us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nadine, for sharing this, and everyone who joined will get to know the person who spoke these wise words. So there would be a lot to come on that end. Yusuf, one last sentence from your side on where you see your company in 3 years. What's your vision?
Our vision is completely achievable. I've never been more confident about it, and that is to be able to plant 10 million trees a year. That is our transformational goal. If you were to say to me a year from now, we'll be in the position we're in, I would have been ever grateful. And I just want to conclude with this thought that it's WE4F can be even more ambitious for you than we are for ourselves. They talk about 50 million trees, and that's what we have in our heart, but do we have the courage to say it? Well, they say it. And so that's another great thing, that we're not ambitious alone, and they are part of what will make an essential difference. And so this is an application you absolutely need to go for and share who you are in that process.
Thank you so much, Yusuf and Nadine, for being so motivational and at the same time providing a reality check. And I think this moment is the moment where we are starting to grow the family. So I'm excited. Thank you for being here and supporting that process. With this, I would like now to hand back to Irene, because now it's about more details of the call and the application process. Irene, could you tell us what is expected, when, where, and what else we need to know?
Sure, of course. Thank you, Aline, and thank you very much, Yusuf and Nadine, for your time and insights. So the second call for innovations, which launched today, will deploy up to $2 million US in technical assistance and grants to support mid to late stage organizations, such as most of you in this call, hopefully, with a demonstrated track record in delivering innovative water or energy saving solutions to end users in the agriculture and food value chains in the MENA region. So if we go to the next slide, why would we like for you to join the We4F? And if we just take a step back and take a deep look at why we're all really here today, other than, of course, working with organizations such as Robinson Agri and the High Atlas Foundation, who are really driving change in their countries and communities. We have many challenges in the Middle East, as everyone on this call probably knows. In the MENA region, there's water scarcity and water waste. There's energy inaccessibility and insecurity. Farmers are undergoing shrinking profit margins due to the rising costs and volatile costs of inputs, energy and water, availability and the price of energy and water. There's food insecurity, and there are a lot of other issues related to resource inefficiencies in the food and agriculture value chain. But as most of you know, these challenges also present excellent opportunities for change and excellent opportunities for innovative business models in the MENA region and beyond. And that is mainly because there's large and rapidly growing demand from our growing populations, and there's limited supply of solutions and raw material and services to meet this growing demand. And there are untapped markets to be unlocked through innovations, and there are diverse sectors, technologies, and types of innovations that the market is thirsty for, and there's a big need for such kinds of solutions. Let's take the example in the next slide. We'll show you a quick snapshot of one of the examples of an agriculture and food value chain, which is very common in the MENA region, which is the value chain of medicinal and aromatic plants and herbs. In MENA, as you may know, most of the business activities and most of the economic activities are clustered around downstream work, such as the farming, the cultivation, and harvesting of such plants and herbs, as well as the trading and retail aspects. However, there are many other untapped opportunities to enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of this value chain, such as the provision of, for example, solar-powered dryers or advanced irrigation systems or water salinity solutions, as well as high-quality inputs and biologically friendly inputs such as biocontrol agents and biofertilizers, also digital solutions to enhance the productivity of farmers, fintech solutions to connect the farmers with markets and financing entities, etc. So there is a wide range of opportunities that are yet to be filled. If we go to the next slide. As a consortium, we also understand that commercializing and scaling up such solutions could be very challenging, and that it's a very, very tough journey as you grow in the value chain of startup development. So based on our experience working with hundreds of organizations in the water, energy for food space, we learned that unfortunately, less than 3% of firms or organizations reach revenues of hundreds of millions of dollars. And we understand that the challenges are very deep-rooted, but we also understand how to resolve them. We understand that what it takes to scale up is business model pivoting, partnership development, institutionalization, building the right legal structure, building the right governance structure, building the right team, determining your growth strategy, and also end user financing schemes, which is a very important part of in the sectors that we work in to enhance the adoption of such We4F technologies. And this is really what we focus on, as Nicola mentioned earlier today. And just as just to get down to business, I wanted to first inform you of the larger, reason for being and the raison d'etre for why we're here today. But if we were to get down to the nitty-gritty, I just wanted you to understand a little bit more about the selection process, and we will go deeper into the applications in the next webinar. So first, as you see on the left, the concept note stage was launched today, and this consists of about 3 sections about your organization and technical approach. The deadline is on November 25th, and following that phase, you'll be invited to submit a full proposal in December. About 50 applicants will be invited to delve deeper into their application process. If we go to the next slide, very quickly, building off of this one. So after the full proposal phase, there's going to be another selection process that will take place by February 2022. And then you will go through a pre-award phase from February to April. And this pre-award phase consists of a series of pre-vetting and due diligence activities, as Yusuf mentioned, by our team and the program partners. And you'll also go through a series of growth management trainings and one-on-one support to help you develop your transformational plan for the next 3 years. And then finally, those selected to proceed and receive both financial and technical assistance support will sign a grant agreement and are expected to receive the first payment around April 2022. Afterwards, you begin your journey of receiving investment readiness, partnership support, stakeholder engagement support, as well as technical assistance. So to give you a sneak peek into what to expect when you're applying, as soon as you enter the website, www.weforf.org/apply-MENA, which Hannah will also include in the chat, you will see a whole lot of resources to help guide you on the selection criteria, the informational webinars, the application process, etc. We ask you to click on the box at the top right to begin your concept note section when you're ready. In the next couple of slides, we'll go very quickly through some of the questions, because this is something that we will go into in much more detail in the next webinar. So if we can take a quick look at some of the questions that we highly advise for you to think about before starting the concept note. So we have six, until we pull up the slides, we have six categories related to the selection criteria. We have basic eligibility questions that we'll be asking. We have water, energy for food thematic questions to make sure that you fit, that you offer either water and or energy solutions for the food and agriculture sectors. We also have a series of innovation criteria that we look into, business and financial criteria, social and environmental. So we're about to give you a sneak peek into some of the questions that would be really useful for you to think about prior to really getting into fleshing out your answers. They're not comprehensive, but they're examples of what you could be thinking about before you start your application. And again, in the next webinar, we'll be going through them in much more detail. So in terms of basic criteria, of course, presence in the MENA region is extremely important, and you'll see on our website which are the 10 MENA countries that we're targeting. It's also very important that you've gone beyond the research and development and prototyping stage, that you have a track record, that you have commercialized, and that you have reached since day one of your operations, that you have reached at least 1,000 customers and end users. If your product is more than $100, or if your solution is more than $100, and about 5,000 if your solution is lower than that. It's also really important that you have a customer base in the food and or agriculture sector, that you are submitting as a registered organization that can provide legal documents and financial statements, and that the work that you're doing is not a traditional development project that's seeking grant without the market-driven component of it. So the next slide, we'll get more into the thematic criteria. So as you know, by now, we're supporting mid to large-scale organizations who are offering water and or energy solutions to enhance food production, to reduce energy and or to reduce energy consumption and or both. So it's really important that you prove through your application how you serve We4F's goals, and some of them are in front of you on the screen. So how do you enhance the value chain? How do you enhance the productivity of the value chains? How do you save water? How do you save resources? And how you support biodiversity and support women and vulnerable communities. It's also very important that you think with your team very deeply if you can provide quantitative evidence to support your ability to achieve these goals. And just as examples, it's going to be important for you to provide us with data and supporting evidence for the liters of water saved and the tons of food produced, kilowatt hours of energy saved, and the number of women and poor end users in your communities. Next slide. In terms of innovation, we look for innovations, as we mentioned earlier, that are demonstrated, that are proven, that are beyond the R&D phase, and that are game-changing compared to what already exists in the markets that you're targeting. It's also very important for you to show us how these solutions will be affordable and accessible to your end users and customers. And it's also important for us to see if these can be scaled up to reach thousands and thousands of end users and customers. Next slide. In terms of the business criteria and the financial criteria, of course, being the mid to large scale organizations that we expect you to be, having a well-defined financial model is important. Having financial projections is also important. Having a strong financial system in place, being able to provide us with audited financial statements, and also understanding if, given your current circumstances, understanding what your goals are to scale, and if you have matching funds of either debt or equity that could support the grant funding that's going into your program, that's going into your organization. In terms of the environmental, social, and governance criteria, again, as we mentioned earlier, it's really important how for you to see how you're planning on making your innovations more accessible and affordable for vulnerable communities, for the poor, for women, how you're planning on integrating women in your value chain and within your team as well. It's also important for us to understand your ability to provide documentation for the impact that you're creating along the lines of the indicators that we're looking for. It's also important for us to understand how much you understand that both the positive and negative impact that your innovation may have on the environment and on the communities in which you're operating in. Next. What we do not support is we do not support organizations that do not fulfill the criteria that we mentioned earlier. So in a nutshell, organizations that have no links to the Water Energy for Food nexus, that have no positive impact on the poor, women, and the environment, organizations that are still at a very, very early stage in the piloting phase, and organizations that are typical donor-driven development projects that are not market-driven and do not have a clear plan to scale to end users and customers, and established large companies whose technologies are already used throughout the 10 eligible countries. Next. So in the next few weeks, we highly recommend that you review the Call for Innovations document on the website, which is provided in both Arabic and English. It has a lot of details about the selection criteria, the benefits of the program, the services that will be offered to you. And it also has the questions of not only the concept note phase, but also the full proposal phase. So we highly encourage you to download that PDF from the website and go through it thoroughly. You can also create an account on SurveyMonkey Apply, which is the platform that we use for this program. And as we mentioned earlier, Hannah will be including that link on the chat. You can start your application whenever you're ready, and you can also save your progress. So you do not need to actually complete the full application on the spot. You can take your time and thoroughly filling it out in the next couple of weeks. Please submit your questions about the application process by November 1st in Arabic, English, or French to the email address that Hannah will also provide on the chat, we4f@veritech.org. And all applications must be submitted via the platform. We will not accept any applications through email. And please, on the day of the deadline, or hopefully before November 25th p.m., November 25th at 4 p.m. CET, please make sure to click the submit button, because we had a couple of cases last year where some organizations did not complete the full application, did not click on the submit button. Finally, please sign up for our webinars on October 27th and November 4th, which Aline will provide you with a little bit more details of before we close the session. On to you, Aline.
Yes, thank you so much, Irene. We are almost at the end of our English session. If we could just maybe pull up the last slide, please, one more time, because I want to show you the dates of the upcoming webinars. You will need to register for them as you did today. It's the same link for registration, but you need to register again. And in the next webinar, we'll go in depth again into eligibility criteria and walk you through the process in the application system. And then in the third webinar in the beginning of November, you have the chance to ask questions in a live Q&A session. In parallel, you can send us by email, as was shared in the chat, questions, and we will answer them and also include answers in a document that we will upload on the We4F website with frequently asked questions and their answers. So now with this, we will end the English session. I can only imagine that the 100 participants in this room are all doing amazing work in the environmental sector. And we hope that many of you felt today that water energy for food could be the right vehicle, the right partner for you to grow and scale. And that we were able to already share some of the critical information that you were looking for. And yeah, we hope that in the next couple of weeks, you will be applying and we can get to know you better. And I want to thank you for staying with us here, and the team, and Nadine and Youssef for providing all this knowledge and information. And almost right away, we will be now transitioning into the Arabic session. Thank you very much.